Hello dear students, once again welcome you all on this online lecture platform, and today we are going to discuss a topic from microbial systematics, and that topic is polyphagic approach. In this particular topic we are going to discuss tools and techniques that are used for identification of microbes, and there are several techniques that are used to detect or to identify particular microbial species. So this topic is very important as far as your exam point of view is concerned. So listen carefully. So let's start. So what is meant by taxonomy? So taxonomy is the science of characterizing and naming organism in order to arrange them into hierarchical groups, that is taxa. Okay, so in taxonomy what we do, we identify the organism and place them in correct taxonomic rank or in correct taxonomic hierarchical groups. Okay, so organisms with similar properties are grouped together and separated from ones that are different. Okay, means what? Similar organism, they are placed in particular group. Okay, and if the organism is different, they are placed in another group. Okay, so organism with similar properties, they are grouped together. Okay, organism that shows similar properties, they are grouped together, and those organisms that are not similar, they are placed in different categories. So taxonomy can be viewed as three separate but interrelated areas. Okay, so these are the three different but interrelated areas in case of taxonomy, and these are central to all organisms, all living organisms. This common theme for animals, plants as well as microbes also, for their identification as well as nomenclature or their taxonomic point of view. So first step is in taxonomic identification is taxonomic any kind of taxonomy is identification. So the process of characterizing and isolate a population of cells descendant from single cells to determine the group or taxon to which it belongs. So what is meant by identification? In identification, simply we identify the organism. Okay, whether it is plant or it is animal or whether it is microorganism. In case of plants and animals, most of the identification is based on their morphological features. But in case of prokaryotes or in case of bacteria and fungi, this means alone morphology is not a feature for their correct to place them in correct taxonomic rank. Okay, but in case of animals and plants, most of their identification is based on their morphology. But in case of bacteria and fungi, alone morphology is not sufficient to identify that organism. Okay, the next step is classification. After identification, the process of arranging organism into similar or related groups. Okay, so classification is the process in which microorganisms they are arranged into similar or related groups, primarily to make easier to identify them for further study. Then third is nomenclature. Nomenclature means to assign scientific name to that organism. Okay, so these are the three interrelated areas that are important as far as any kind of taxonomy is concerned. In case of microbes, microbial identification is done or carried out by two methods, that is phenotypic analysis as well as biochemical data, and second is genotypic analysis. The phenotypic analysis and biochemical data is mostly based on their phenotypic characters as well as some physiological and biochemical characteristics, whereas genetic analysis, it depends upon molecular level where genes, DNA and RNA, they are characterized for microbial identification. In case of bacterial taxonomy, microbial taxonomy is the science of studying, grouping, science of study and grouping of microorganisms. So microbial taxonomy is a science of study and grouping of microorganisms. That bacterial taxonomy includes again the same steps, that is classification, identification as well as nomenclature. And bacterial taxonomy concludes the three separate but interrelated areas, and they are classification, identification as well as nomenclature. So classification, it is nothing but arrangement of organism into group or taxa on the basis of similarities or relationships. In identification, we identify particular bacteria or particular microorganism, and all other techniques, whatever techniques that are used for identification of microbes. So it is a process of characterizing organism to determine and isolate as a member of an established taxon or a previously unidentified species. Okay. In nomenclature, we assign particular name, that is scientific name, to that organism. So nomenclature is assignment of a specific name according to international rules. Okay. So in case of bacteria, international code for nomenclature of bacteria is the assigning authorized body, that just say for example ICBN or ICZN. In case of bacteria, ICBN is there. Okay. So let's summarize the taxonomical hierarchies. In that, the basic and the most lowest level of taxonomic categories, species. So species is a group of closely related strain. In case of microbes or in case of bacteria, a species means it is a group of closely related strain. Now strain means it is descendant of cells that are descendant from single cells, or the organism that are descendant from single organism, that are called strains. So in case of microbes, species can be defined as group of closely related strain. Note that members of species are not all identical individual. Okay. So here in case of microbes, so members of species, they are not all identical. Okay. Individual strain may differ from each other, and the difficulty for taxonomists is to decide how different two isolate must be in order to be classified as a separate species rather than strain of the same species. So this is a very challenging task in case of microbes or in case of bacteria, that most of the bacteria they are similar, and we cannot, it is really a very tough challenge for microbiologists or taxonomists, microbial taxonomists, to keep or to identify bacteria at species level and to put them in correct species rather than strain of same species, because there is a actually in microbiology, as I have told you before, there is no species concept. Okay. So it is very confusing between strains and species, but here we can simply define species in case of microbes as a group of closely related strains. Next taxonomic category is genus. It is collection of similar species. Then family. It is again higher taxonomic category than genus, and a family is collection of similar genera. And in case of prokaryotic nomenclature, the name of family ends with suffix AC. Say for example Enterobacteriaceae, okay, Chlorobiaceae. Then next taxonomic category is order, and in order, a collection of similar family. It is order means a collection of similar families. In case of prokaryotic nomenclature, the name of order ends with suffix "le". The next category is class. It is a collection of similar orders. Then phylum or division. It is collection of similar classes. The next kingdom. It is collection of similar phyla or division. And lastly domain. It is the highest taxonomic rank or category and the domain means a collection of similar kingdoms, and the domain reflects characteristics of cells that make up an organism. So these are several taxonomic categories. Okay, this is an example of taxonomic rank of bacterium Escherichia coli. It is the classification of Escherichia coli according to taxonomic rank, and if you see that species E. coli, it is Escherichia coli, its binomial name or scientific name, and in that coli is coli represents species, then Escherichia is genus, and that E. coli belongs to family Enterobacteriaceae, and that Enterobacteriaceae family, again it is member of order Enterobacteriales, and it belongs to class Gamma Proteobacteria, and again it belongs to phylum Proteobacteria, and finally the domain is bacteria. So this is how bacteria they are classified, and they are put in correct taxonomic hierarchy, and this is the detailed taxonomic rank of bacterium Escherichia coli. So it species in for Escherichia coli, coli represents its species and Escherichia is genus, and it belongs to family Enterobacteriaceae. So bacterial taxonomy incorporates multiple methods of identification and description of new species, and today the main theme of our lecture is the polyphasic approach that is used in microbial taxonomy or bacterial taxonomy, and it uses three methods that includes phenotypic analysis, which is based on morphological features, then genotypic analysis, again it depends upon genotypic characteristics or genotypes, it is depends upon DNA, RNA molecules, then third phylogenetic analysis, again it is depend upon molecule, and phylogenetic analysis it is means the organism is related how it get evolved, and through the course of evolution how it get diverged. So all these things we study in phylogenetic analysis. So basically polyphasic approach it divides or it uses these three methods, that phenotypic analysis, genotypic analysis and phylogenetic analysis. So phenotypic characteristic includes morphological data, then physiological as well as biochemical data, then some of the chemotaxonomic markers, it includes fatty acid analysis, then the pattern of polar lipid present in membranes, then composition of cell wall. So all these features it includes in phenotypic characteristics. Then genotypic characteristics, they are based on nucleic acid, and it includes DNA hybridization technique, then guanine to cytosine content, that is percent GC content, and multichorus sequencing typing, that is known as abbreviated as MLST, and DNA profiling. And in case of phylogenetic analysis, it is based on 16S rRNA gene sequencing analysis as well as multi-gene sequence analysis and whole genome sequence analysis. So overall in this topic we have to we'll going to study all these techniques which are used for identification of particular microbes. Now what is species in case of microbiology? So as I told you before in previous lecture that virtually there is no accepted concept of species for prokaryotes. Okay, virtually there is no accepted concept of species for prokaryotes. So generally what we consider species as a group of strain having similar features. Okay, so collection of strains sharing high degree of similarity in several independent traits that are known as species in case of prokaryotes or in case of bacteria. And the most important trait includes 70% or greater DNA hybridization, and 98.5 or greater 16S rRNA gene sequence identity. So these features it includes important traits while defining strains that belong to same species. Okay. So in case of microbiology, species means nothing but group of strains that share common several they share some common similar traits that are independent to each other. Okay. Here in this picture you can see that different approaches or different techniques that are used in microbial identification, they are summarized, and you can see the upper portion, it is headed with genotypic information. Obviously the name suggests that the genotypic information means the identification of microbes that is based on genotypic characteristics, and includes DNA based method as well as RNA based method, and the DNA based method includes mole GC plus content, mole percentage of G plus C. Then restriction pattern, it includes RFLP technique as well as PGG technique, PFG technique, then genome size and DNA hybridization technique. Then next DNA segments that are analyzed for microbial identification, they are based on PCR based fingerprinting. It includes ribotyping, then ADRA, then RAPD and AFLP. Then next there are some DNA probes that are used in microbial identification as well as DNA sequencing. It may be partial sequencing or whole genome sequencing. So these are the methods that are based on DNA. Similarly, in case of RNA based sequencing, the most RNA based technique is 16S rRNA sequencing that is used in phylogenetic analysis, as well as low molecular weight RNA profiles, they are used in identification of microbes. Then in case of proteins, so electrophoretic patterns, so protein based techniques of microbial identification includes electrophoretic patterns of total cellular or cell envelope proteins. Electrophoretic techniques includes first dimension and second dimension. Then some of the techniques that are based on enzyme, and it includes multichorus enzyme electrophoresis. So all these techniques, they are based on protein. Then if you see at the base, there are chemotaxonomic marker based techniques. The technique includes cellular fatty acid, then mycolic acid, then polar lipids, then quinones, then polyamines, then cell wall compounds, and exopolysaccharides that are known as expols or exopolysaccharides. Then there are some expressed feature that includes morphology or physiological based techniques, that includes biolog and API. We'll going to discuss in next slides. And then some of the techniques that are based on physiology, that includes enzymological based techniques, and lastly the serological based techniques, which includes monoclonal, which uses monoclonal and polyclonal antibodies. So overall, these are the summarized form of, in this figure, all techniques that are used in identification of microbes, they are summarized. And you can see that there are two types of methods are there, that are genotypic based, and next another methods are phenotypic based. Here you can see some of the morphological as well as physiological and metabolic characters of taxonomic importance, and in that morphological feature includes cell shape, then cell size, then colony morphology, then ultrastructural characteristics, then staining behavior, then cilia and flagella, then mechanism of motility, then endospore shape as well as its location, then spore morphology and its location, cellular inclusions like PHB and color. So these are the morphological features or characteristics that are used in identification of particular microbes. We'll discuss in coming slides in detail. Then some of the physiological or metabolic characters includes carbon to nitrogen sources, then cell wall constituent, then different energy sources, then various fermentation products that are produced by microbes after process of fermentation. Then there are some general nutritional type, then growth condition which includes pH, temperature. Then luminescence means the is the property that is shown by some of the microbes. Then mechanism of energy conversion, then motility, osmotic tolerance, oxygen relationship, then again pH optimum and growth range, then photosynthetic pigment, salt requirement, then various kind of secondary metabolites and sensitivity to metabolic inhibitors and antibiotics and storage inclusions. So all these factors, they are important as far as microbial taxonomy is concerned, and they are all examining. By examining all these factors, we get clue one by one, and we collect all these clues to identify particular bacteria. So these are the methods once again used to identify microbes. In that, phenotypic characteristics includes microscopic morphology. So microscopic morphology, from microscopic morphology we get idea about size, then its shape, then arrangement of cell, and staining characteristic can give suggestive information which are helpful in identification of particular microorganism, and further testing however it is needed to confirm the identification. So microscopic methods, they are the primary, we get primary clue by examining microscopic morphology, and it get details, we get details regarding size of bacteria, then shape and arrangement of cells. Then cultural characteristics, so again colony morphology tells more about that particular species of bacteria or particular bacteria, because colony morphology is different for different organism, and it gives essentially clues to identify an organism. Then various metabolic capabilities, it is a set of biochemical tests that can be used to identify microorganism, and they are very important as far as traditional or modern methods are concerned. It includes in vivo test, then various carbohydrate fermentation tests, then various enzyme production test. The next is serological testing. So serological testing is based on various proteins and polysaccharides that make up an microorganism and are sometimes characteristic enough to be considered identifying markers, and these can be detected using specific antibodies. So serological testing is mostly used in immunology, and it is mostly used in medical microbiology. Then next is protein profiling, and multitude of MS separates proteins, organisms proteins by mass, and they generate a profile that provides fast way to identify microbial colony. So all these methods, they includes phenotypic characteristics. Then there are genotypic characteristic based method. It includes detecting specific nucleotide sequence, and it includes nucleotide probe as well as nucleotide amplification tests that are used for identification of microbes. Then sequencing of RNA genes, that includes 16S RNA sequencing or whole genome sequencing, and various kind of analysis that are based on genotypic features or genotypic characteristics. So overall, this is summary of methods that are used in identification of microorganisms. So let's discuss the all details. So in that, first is microscopic morphology. So microscopic morphology is based on phenotypic characteristics, and it is, as we know that microbes, they are too small, we cannot see them with naked eye. We have to use some magnifying devices or aids to observe microbes, and for that we use microscope. And by using microscope, we get fair clue about cell morphology as well as cell arrangement as well as special cell structures. And in case of cell morphology, we can detect whether bacteria is rod shape, or it is coca shape, or it is parallel shape. So after examining through microscope, we get a morphological idea about the cell, that means which type of cell it is. So Then we get clue regarding cell arrangement, because most of the microorganism they arrange in diplococcus, streptococcus, then star, irregular clusters, and sarcina, etc. There are various types of cell arrangement we have already discussed in previous lecture. Then we can get clue regarding flagella, pili, capsules, spores. These are specialized cell structure. So microscopic morphology is a preliminary identification tool. So microscopy is the basic and the most preliminary identification tool that is used in identification of particular microbes. Okay, in this picture you can see very beautiful microbes, and they are of various colors and various shapes, and again they are arranged in various types of pattern. And you can say bacillus is there, then cocci and other types of bacteria. Okay, so microscopic morphology ultimately it is preliminary, we get preliminary clue about what type of microbe is. So here in couple of slides we will discuss various kinds of microscope. First is light microscope. It is why we call light microscope, because the source of illumination in case of light microscope is natural light or daylight, and it is a common tool that is used in any microbiological laboratory, and we get various clues or preliminary clues about after examining that microscope through microscope. Okay, so it is relatively easy to use and considerably less expensive as compared to other kind of microscope. The next there are various types of microscope that are based on light. It includes bright field microscope, then dark field microscope, and each microscope has its own significance and its own capabilities, and there are different kinds of microscope they are used in microbiology as per the need and as per the specifications. So these are the common examples. It includes bright field as well as dark field microscope, then differential interference contrast microscope. In that we can see 3D image. Then fluorescence microscope, here we can observe fluorescent cell by combining that fluorescent dyes with microbial cells, so we can easily detect the microbes that are fluorescing. Then scanning laser microscope, again it is very superior as compared to other microscope, and it is used to obtain 3D image of structure that has been stained with fluorescent dye, and it provides detailed sectional view of intact cells. The next, electron microscope, they are of very high resolution, and source for these microscopes they are electrons, and they are used, and their preparation are again very complicated and they are very expensive. They are not present in every microbiological laboratory. They are very costly and expensive. So they are used for a very specific purpose, and complicated the specimen preparation for these microscope is very complicated as compared to other microscope, and they are used for surface details of detailed structural analysis. So there are different kinds of electron microscopes are there, and their principles are quite different, and they are used for different purposes. It includes transmission electron microscope, then scanning probe electron microscope, then atomic force microscope. Okay, then next, colony morphology. Okay, the next phenotypic features that are used in microbial identification is colony morphology. So here in this picture you can see different types of colonies that are seen when we culture the bacteria in petri dish, and we can you have commonly observed these kind of patterns of colonies. It includes circular, then irregular, then filamentous, then punctiform, then flat, raised, convex, and umbonate. So all these are colony morphologies or colonies that are produced by microbes or bacteria after culturing in petri dish, and that colony morphology is specific. Again, it is specific feature. So different kind of microbes they produce different colonies. So again we can get different clues after identifying colony morphology, and colony morphology tells more about the means about bacteria. So specific colony is produced by specific kind of microorganism. Okay, so not all kind of microbes they produce the same or similar colonies. There are different types of microbes and they produces different colonies. So by observing colony morphology, we can get a fair clue of what type of microbes it might be. Okay, see this is in this picture you can see different types of colonies are there on agar media or different kinds of media, and these colonies tells about that which kind of microbe they may be. Here you can see the different kinds of growth patterns on slant also, and you can see the colored colonies, and the colored are nothing due to pigments that are produced by microbes. And again the pigments, they are important clues in identification of microbes, because not all microbes are not all microbes they produce pigments. There are some microbes that produces specific pigments, and again we can identify we can get identification clue by examining pigments. So overall this details regarding growth pattern on slants. The next important feature is staining. So staining and microscopy, they are both interrelated. If we want to observe microbes or bacteria under microscope, so we should first stain them. Without staining we cannot observe microbes because they are transparent. So staining is the important, and they are interrelated, means staining and microscopy both they are interrelated. If stains are not there, we cannot visualize bacteria. So in microbiology there are various kinds of staining techniques they are used. Here there are summary of several stains and their characteristics are given, and various techniques they are mentioned. That simple stains are there, which are in that basic dyes is used to stain the cell, and it is easy way to increase contrast between colorless cells and colorless background. So we use staining techniques to observe cell shape or microbes.